Higher Education Minister Dr. Blade Nzimande says corruption allegations against him are lies. And that's after the Organization Undoing Tax Abuse last week released recordings which allegedly reveal that he and NSFAS chair Ernest Khoza tried to solicit kickbacks from service providers. The non-profit organization further claims that Nzimande's South African Communist Party received a 1 million rand payment.
Firstly, I wish to once again assure the South African public that as Minister of Higher Education, Science and Innovation, I have never used any money from any of my department's entities for the purpose of funding the South African Communist Party, as maliciously and falsely suggested in the outer report. Nor have I received any personal kickbacks from any of the service providers to NSFAS or any of the other entities falling under my departments. I therefore wish to dismiss this baseless insinuation by outer.
Now, the UDM has joined mounting calls for Nzimande to resign in light of these allegations. Let's unpack this further with party leader General Bantu Holomisa, who joins us now via our video link. It's great to have you on the program as always, sir. Thanks very much indeed for making time to speak to us. You know, as part of that briefing yesterday when Nzimande came out guns blazing, he dismissed these reports as nothing but gossip that is sent to him because people know it'll stick because he's a minister. Do you buy that?
Firstly, compliments of the citizens to you and our viewers. Secondly, I'm going to brief ukuthi ukhona indoda lapha entshontshe umkhonto yabaleka nawo so silizwe likhuluma ngalonto sengathi ngokuzawuntshontsha nevili elishekile. But anyway, let's come back to the business. You will recall that UDM has been exposing the corruption in the Department of Education, Higher Education, and especially in the sit-ups from time immemorial. We even wrote letters to the President to intervene. At one stage, the President took sides and defended Blade Nzimande and instead expelled the accounting officer, the former DG of the department, Mr. Conde. So I'm not surprised, therefore, that the staff which was exposing all these shenanigans of his in other institutions like NSFAS had to be shown the door by him because he has successfully usurped the powers of the accounting officers. He is the DG of the department. I don't even think that he is doing an oversight rather than running that department almost every day. So the campaign which the UDM has been involved in this led to the President signing a proclamation, for instance, of the SIU, for SIU to investigate that department, especially NSFAS. Guess what? The SIU is still yet to table the report. Early this year in February, I also wrote letters to the Hawks and everybody else to say, here is an allegation, serious allegation that these people have been renting a building for 500,000. But all of a sudden they have decided to abandon that building and go to a building which costs almost 2 million rands a month. All these allegations have not been tried and tested. I mean, they have not been tested in the legal field. I think the DA has done outer has done a good job, and that work of theirs must be tested somewhere, either through inquiry or in court. I hear that DA is planning to take the matter to court. As for the President, he has to change the way of running this country. We don't have contract with the DA, with Blade Nzimande. So if he is reshuffled or is expelled from the cabinet, that would lead to verification of all these serious allegations, including the audit reports which have queried all these exercises, and the role where, for instance, Blade would shield his investigations or reports to the auditors and also to the portfolio committee is bad news for that department.
Right.
And I say we don't have a contract with him. If he is expelled, he can take us to CCMA. He is there to serve the people of South Africa. We don't have a contract. If he is failing the students, he has to be removed.
Sure. You know, you rightly point out that the DA is looking to take further steps, to have these claims tested, as you've put it. And ALTA, for its part, is now saying that they're going to escalate them to the president's desk. I wonder how confident you are that anything will come from that. Because, as you've also pointed out, claims around there being something amiss at NSFAS, and that's probably an understatement, have been around for some time. But it's only until recently that the president gives any kind of proclamation for there to be a deep dive investigation. So are you confident that outer escalating this to the president will yield any results, frankly?
I can predict that the president will simply say, on such and such a date, I did write or approve a proclamation, and that matter is in the SIU, and so he is not going to get involved into that. But elsewhere in the world, you don't have to prove beyond reasonable doubt. Normally, balance of probabilities is sufficient enough to say, please take a leave. Let us have an investigation on this matter, especially that Blade Nzimande has been acting like a super DG of the department. Look at this, the staff now of his, which he is transferring them to run NSFAS. One was a PA of his, one was a his spokesperson. Those people now, one was, I think, appointed last month, if I'm not mistaken. They are now going to run NSFAS. If you want more information, track how he has dealt with Nongoko, who was his confidant at one stage, but he dared to raise the finger to say, this is wrong. It was the same thing to Conde. Where are they now? They are in the street. Remove this fellow. If Cyril Ramaphosa wants to still wants him to work with him, he can send him to another department, or at least put him in the presidency where they normally dump these people. But the Department of Education deserves better.
Sure. I wonder if that's advisable, moving into another department where there may potentially be the same issues. But, General, if I'm understanding you correctly, it sounds like you have more of an issue with Blade Nzimande's governance style, right? He usurps power, I think is a term that you used, and in fact doesn't allow people essentially to do their jobs. The claims here, though, are around him being involved in alleged corruption. And in putting up a defense yesterday, Blade Nzimande says, in fact, what is happening now is that people are coming after him as some kind of pushback for the corruption in NSFAS that he has uncovered. If we speak about a balance of probabilities, is there room for that to be true?
No, not at all, because the same service providers who have been taped are pointing fingers to the chairperson of NSFAS and implicating the Blade Nzimande in a big way. So if he is honest, he should say to the president, Mr. President, can you appoint my deputy minister, and that I take a leave of about 3 months to give the SIU and everybody to clear these allegations, rather than calling press conferences just to say, I deny. How many people have said they have done nothing wrong, yet they end up in jail?
All right. Bantu Holomisa, thanks very much indeed for speaking to us. We appreciate your reaction this Tuesday. Bantu Holomisa is the leader of the UDM.